like super fucked up. It's so fucked up. And he had like the pistol to her head and she was freaking out. She peed on her stuff. Yo, I'm back. If you don't know me, my name is Jess and today we will be talking about modeling in Milan. It ain't that glamorous, but you will see. Now let's talk about money, guys. Because money is a big topic when you're a model, obviously. And I don't mean it in a way that you earn a lot of money. No. I mean, you might think, okay, wow, that model is on a big billboard or she's on the cover of a magazine. She must earn a lot of money. Oh. Let me tell you how this works. So, when you are on a placement in another country, in a new city, whatever. So for example, you go to Milan and you're on a placement, which means that your main agency, also called mother agency, sends you to that city and like gets you an agency there and like everything. Okay. But when you're there, that particular agency pays for your stuff. Like they pay for your rent, they pay for your pocket money, so you get like money every week that you can spend. They pay for your, like there's so many costs, there's so many fees. They pay for your like photo shoots, they pay for your flights, they pay for your modeling book, they pay for your whatever, like they pay for everything, okay? And you might think, oh, that's so nice, that's so good that they do that. Nope. I mean, yeah, it is nice, but of course you have to pay that back, and you have to pay that back within that first month. It's a bit difficult, okay? It's a bit difficult. Because of course you get scared because you have to pay everything back, and if you don't pay it back in a certain amount of time, they send you home, and of course you don't want that. You don't want to be sent home, you want to work. That was a lot of girls who like told me that they are so scared, like they cried in front of me because they said, oh, I have to go see the agency today and I think they're gonna send me home because I only had like 2 jobs this month. And let me tell you, getting a job is super hard as a model if you're not like a high profile model, okay? I remember one time my agency called me and it wasn't my first week, okay? It was like 3rd day or something. So they called me or like messaged me or whatever and said, oh honey, can you come to the agency after the castings today? And I was like, sure. But in my head was like so many thoughts. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna send me home, they're gonna tell me I'm not allowed to do fashion week, they're gonna tell me my work is shit, they're gonna tell me this and that. Because you get so scared, okay? That's like your life. So I went to the agency that day and I was like, they're gonna send me home, they're gonna send me home, they're gonna send me home, what do I do? And I got there and I was so relieved when they told me I just have a job. Let me tell you something. Like the jobs that I had in my time in Milan, I didn't get 1 single euro of it. Nothing. Because everything that I earned got like straight to the agency because, you know, they pay for my rent and everything, so of course I had to pay them back. So if I earned something, like it's a lot of money, okay? So let's talk about numbers. I knew that I had to make like over 2k a month in order to pay for all my fees. And if I made like 1 euro less than that, I didn't earn any money. One day I was off to a casting and I was on the bus. See you on the bus. Then a girl like came onto the bus and she was immediately so friendly because I think she recognized that I was a model. I don't know, like if you're a model and you see another model walking somewhere, you just kind of have that sense. It's like a gator, but it's like a model die, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so she was immediately so friendly to me, and I was not used to that because most of the models, when you're like in a model city, like Milan, Tokyo, London, Paris, whatever, they're like everyone is for themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like no one really wants to make friends, they're just there to make money, like to, you know. She was one of the sweetest people and also models that I ever met, okay? So we went to the casting together and like we were like talking all the time. I asked her about her experiences within the industry She told me such fucked up and sad stories. I was shook, okay? Like, I have heard a lot of things, but what she told me is like a whole new level. That girl was fucking raped by photographers. She's like such a sunshiny person, even though she had such bad experiences in her life. Little disclaimer, what I'm about to tell you, if you are triggered by like rape and like harassment, skip the next bit. So what happened was, she told me she was at a photo shoot and that photographer told her to like take off her clothes. Yeah, she didn't like undress completely, but she had like, I don't know, bikini or something. And he would like take pictures of her, everything was okay, and then he started taking pictures like only of her lower part, like the lower part of her body. And she clearly noticed that he was like taking pictures of her lady parts. He was like taking a lot of pictures of that area. She was like, hey, can you like stop doing that? Like, let's take some portraits. What he did, I can't even say it, it's so bad. So he put his camera down and like grabbed her by the arms and pushed her to the ground, okay? And she like tried to like push him away, but she was not strong enough. And then he put his fingers inside of her. You know what I'm saying, right? And she just couldn't do anything against it. And like a lot of more things happened on that day that I don't even want to mention, but you guys know what I'm talking about. She told her agent about it after that. And he or she, I don't know, they said, we're not gonna send any more models to that photographer then, thanks for telling us. She was raped on that day. They didn't care. And now tell me nothing's wrong with this industry. A friend of mine, she lives in a modeling apartment with a lot of girls. And one day she came home to the apartment. She was just at the gym, you know, working out. And then she came home and someone was there threatening her with like a rifle. Is that how you say it? Like, bang bang, you know. And she was in shock, you know what I'm saying? I mean, of course. And he wanted all her money and everything she had with her. And luckily, she only had her sports stuff with her. So like, you know, gym bag and all that. So she handed it over to him. And he had like the pistol to her head. And she was freaking out. She was freaking out. That's super traumatic, obviously. After that, she called the agency and told them what happened. She was like, oh my god, what do I do? Like, go to the police, what do I do? The only thing that they said was, oh, we're so sorry, hun. And that's it. So she was like, can I go to a new apartment? I can't stay there another night. I'm freaking out, I'm scared, like I can't sleep there. And they were like, oh yeah, we will see what we can do on Monday. So she asked the agency, hey, a friend of mine lives at that modeling apartment, can I move to that one? And they said, yeah, sure. Like, they didn't even care, they just said, yeah, of course. So they don't have to do anything, like it's none of their business if a girl of them gets killed or anything. So then she moved to a new modeling apartment, and then she lived with 16 models in one apartment. Can you like think about that? That modeling apartment. We will get back to that later, like the one of the 16 girls. The first shoot that my agency organized for me, it was with another model in Milan, and I arrived like super on time, and I met the photographer, and then the stylist came, and like everyone was there. And we were still waiting for the model, and we were like waiting, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The photographer called her and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm super late, but I'm gonna be there soon. And then later she told me what happened and why she was late. And now let me tell you what happened. So, she was sleeping and she had a chair next to her bed. Okay, and on that chair was like all her clothes for the photo shoot next day. Like she had everything prepared and had it on that particular chair next to her bed. And in the middle of the night, she woke up because she heard something. And what she heard, I can't even say it, guys. There was another girl, like another model, sitting on that chair in the middle of the night, peeing on her stuff. I'm not kidding, guys. She peed on her stuff. Now you see how glamorous modeling apartments really are. And so she woke up and she was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on? You can't just pee on my stuff, like, girl. And she was like, it was in the middle of the fucking night, you know what I'm saying? And that girl who was like peeing said, oh, don't mind me. I'm doing nothing. And she's like, oh my god, like, what's she doing? Like, she was obviously like sleepwalking or something like that. And she didn't even realize what was going on. And so she couldn't sleep anymore. That was like 4 in the morning or something. So she had to get up, wash everything, dry everything, yada yada yada. And of course she was late in the morning because those were the clothes that she needed for the photo shoot. That modeling apartment is that particular modeling apartment where that other girl moved to after she was threatened with a gun. Know what I'm saying? So it's like super fucked up. It's so fucked up. Oh yeah, gun. Gun was the word that I was searching for, not rifle or pistol. What's going on? Okay, let's talk about Fashion Week. Also not very glamorous. So you wake up early in the morning and go to a lot of castings. So you have like the evening before the casting day, you get your castings per email, right? And when you get the castings, you say like, okay, I can't make it to that casting because it's like at the same time as the other casting. So you call your agent and they're like, yeah, you have to go to that one first and then you have to run to the other one. You're like, there's no way that's gonna happen. And then they're like, oh no, but you have to go because it's a request casting. A request casting is if the client has already seen your book and they requested you. So you're like, okay, how am I gonna do that? It's like on the opposite of the fucking city, like I can't do that. Especially during Fashion Week, you go to many events in the evening. Also with your agency, because they also organize events for you. So you go out during Fashion Week, even though you have to get up very early in the morning, but every model from your agency does it, so of course you go out too. And yeah, so I was like going out every night and then get up very early in the morning, not go to sleep at all.
I'm so tired. I went to bed at 6 AM last night because it's Fashion Week, and now it's like in the afternoon and I've got a photo shoot in 30 minutes. I hate myself.
I remember I was like going out and then on the next day I was like, okay, yeah, no castings in the morning. My first casting is at 1 PM so I can sleep. So I was like, yeah. And then I woke up and then I got an email saying, run to the casting, 30 minutes, then it's over. And I was like, no, I just woke up, I don't want to go, I'm so tired. Like, please, no. What if I skip the casting? Okay, no, they didn't say it was request, okay? They didn't say it was a request casting. If it's not a request casting, the client doesn't really recognize if you're there or not because they don't know who's coming to the casting, obviously. And so I was like, oh, it's that one of those castings, I can skip it, like it's fine, I can sleep 30 more minutes. And then when I skipped the casting, I got a call from my agent. She was like so mad at me. She was so mad at me. She was like, hey, it was a request casting, how can you skip that? That was so important. I was like, what? It was a request casting? So I was like freaking out. She called me, she was like, yeah, run there now. And I was like, but I have a job in 30 minutes. Should I go to the casting or to the job? So I was like, of course I have to go to the job, but I still asked her because I didn't want to go to the casting. So she was like, yeah, you should go to the job. But that can never happen again, or you go home. And I was like, but she didn't say it was a request casting, you know? But I was just so tired that day because it was fashion week. And even when you don't go out at night, it's just a lot of castings and it's very exhausting and it's very hot in September in Milan. It's very hot. I know people always think, oh, modeling is so easy, you only have to look pretty. It's not that, it's not that. And people underestimate that a lot. So another model I met in Milan, she was once sent to a request casting, and I mentioned earlier what a request casting is, right? She went to that casting and it was like in a hotel, and it's not that weird because sometimes castings are at hotels, like in a lobby or something, okay? So she was like, okay, at a hotel, fine. So she asked the reception about the client and they told her like the room number. So she went to that room and like knocked on the door. The person opened the door and was like checking her out. So she was like, oh, do you want to see my book? Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to walk? Like, she was like ready to do the casting. And he was like, okay, sit on the bed. And she was like, what is this? Is this a casting? Where are the other models? Like, she was like, she knew that like something was going on, okay? So she was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave now. Because obviously that was not a normal casting, okay? So she tried to leave and he like closed the door in front of her, but she was in the side. He just closed the door so she couldn't get out, and she was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, let me get out. Like, what the fuck is this? It's not a casting. So somehow she managed to call the agency, and of course he tried to stop her, but then the agent was already on the phone, and then he like opened the door and she could like run away. And so yeah, she told the agent what happened. They didn't care. Once again, no one cares. And sometimes they even send like several models to clients like that, even though they complain, and just because those clients pay very well. And the agents, they try to find out where your limits are. Your professional modeling agency will probably send you to more jobs and castings like that. And it's like normal. And no one talks about it. Surprise! I hope I could show you guys that modeling is not as glamorous as you might have thought, and there's still so many more stories that I have to tell. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos because you don't want that. Thanks for watching.